Welcome back to Not So Grand Garage. Tonight I'm out in the shop and we are going to go over the warranty issue I'm having with this new Reman long block. I'm going to go over exactly what it's doing and what I did to narrow down what the cause is. So anyways, let's just get right into it. So as you can see, it's all together, other than the cover right here that goes over the throttle linkage and all that stuff. The problem is, come around here. Starts good, sounds good, runs good, but as you can see, running smooth, no ticks, no weird noises, anything like that. When it's cold, any throttle input, and it starts misfiring. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it's shaking pretty good. It's dropped at least one cylinder. And it gets progressively worse. Not sure if you can see how much it's moving right now, but it's shaking around a good bit. But yeah, the problem will get worse if I rev it higher. It may get to the point where it'll just stall flat out. Hit the key and it sounds weird on the starter, almost like it's got no compression. So I'm gonna go on and shut it off because I don't want it getting warm, because I've got some work to do. Anyways, the problem tends to get better the warmer the engine gets. And once it's up to operating temperature, it runs glass smooth. It'll run down the road just fine, as long as you keep RPM down under, say, 3,200, 3,500. Above that, the misfire will come back. Now, I pulled my hair out on this thing for over a week, trying to figure out what I missed, and couldn't figure it out. I physically put a spark tester on all 8 plug wires. It wasn't dropping spark. I replaced the injectors with a set of new ones. Didn't change anything. I went over every electrical connection under the hood, cleaned everything, double checked everything. I reinforced the main engine ground, thinking maybe it was a problem there. I double checked the ignition control module, no issues there. The ignition system on this truck had been completely gone through about a year ago with all Motorcraft parts, and the truck ran great prior to this engine going in the truck. So where did we screw up? So I got to digging around online and found a person on YouTube that had a similar problem with a really high mileage engine. And after quite a bit of struggle trying to figure out what was going on, because it would random misfire, no codes, no nothing like that. He ended up pulling the cylinder head and found that the valves the valve seats rather, had recessed into the head from wear. What that was allowing to happen is because the valves are recessed in the head, the valve stems protrude upwards a little further. So under normal operating conditions, the lifters are now opening or moving the rocker. The valve is up higher than it should be, so it's being held open under high oil pressure conditions. So it's dropping compression. In this case, when the oil is cold, this thing, on the drill, when I was priming the oiling system, it was getting like 75 pounds of oil pressure, which we did try a thinner oil in it just to rule that out. It didn't make any difference. But when it's cold, oil pressure's up, anything off idle, it's dropping compression on holes. So much so that I actually crawled underneath it. I'm not going to show you right now because I don't want it to get too hot. But with it misfiring, it will suck a sheet of paper out of your hands and up the exhaust pipe. So I know it's holding the exhaust valves open. But yeah. So what the manufacturer of the engine wants me to do first is go on and pull the valve cover, throw a new set of lifters in it, which I already have. So I'm going to go in and do that. If that doesn't clear it up, they're going to send me a new cylinder head for it. I'm going to say that it's a machining problem, that when the cylinder head was remanufactured, they just recut the valve seats and they didn't set the valve protrusion properly, which means the valves are sitting too deep, and when oil pressure is up, it's holding the valves open. But you never know. It could just be a bad set of lifters. I don't know, but we're going to find out. That's what they want to do, and that's what they're going to pay for. So we're going to do that first, and yeah, I'll bring you back after the work is done. I don't want to bore you too much. I don't have a lot of time tonight to hold the camera. So pretty simple. I'm going to pull the intake tube, pull the throttle off, pull the intake tube, pull the throttle body off, pull the valve cover, knock the rockers out, and swap out the lifters, put it all back together, and we'll see how it does. So I got the valve cover off. Everything's looking pretty good under here. Nothing, you know, stands out that's too crazy. Might have a kind of something interesting going on right here. This, I don't know if it's meant to be that way, but the top keeper isn't centered on the spring, which is kind of weird. Don't know if that's a problem or not, but yeah. So no scoring on the cam, nothing too weird. But I've got a new set of HT 2012 lifters by Sealed Power. I'm gonna go on and throw them in some oil, let them soak for a bit. Pop these rockers out and get them swapped out. Got our rockers all out, laid out. They all look good, no damage or anything weird. Got our new lifters sitting in their oil bath, and now I'm going to pull these guys out and throw them in a little container. I believe if they end up being the problem, which they are a different design than the ones I'm getting ready to put in it. I don't see any markings or anything on them. But oh yeah, here we go. I'm not sure what that is. An H338 with a star and a 2110A. So yeah, I'll have to look up and see what brand those are. Get all these guys out. And now we're ready for the new ones. I'm gonna drop the new ones back in, knock the rockers back in place, and we'll see what happens. And there we have it. All the new lifters are in, new rockers, cam followers, whatever you want to call them. They are in, and all is well. I will say, doing this without the right tools is a pain, but it is doable. A little creativity, you can get them in there without hurting anything. But yeah, if you're going to do this job, go on and buy or rent the right tool to do it. It'll make it a lot easier. I wasn't planning on having to put lifters in this thing, and I need to know if this is going to fix it. So I went on and just did it this way. But anyways, I'm going to go on and set you guys back up on the tripod, get it thrown back together, and we'll see if it runs any better. Well, got it all put back together, and I think it's ready to start up. So we'll do just that and see if it's fixed. I'm gonna take a bet and say that it's not, that it's a problem with the valve depth. But hey, this is what they wanted me to try first. They're paying the bill, so that's what we're gonna do. Let's see what happens. We'll try that again. I had forgotten the vacuum line for the PCV off the bottom of the throttle body, so it had a massive vacuum leak. So let's see how it runs now. No bueno. Just to show you what I was talking about with the exhaust on this thing. She's misfiring. Definitely got an exhaust valve hanging open. Now that it's smoothed out, now it's just blowing straight. Not trying to suck it out of my hand anymore. So yeah. You'll also notice it's running smooth. The warmer the engine gets, start misfiring, the faster it recovers, which is again leading me to believe that it's a valve train issue. The oil's thinning out, so it's not pumping the lifters up as hard. But yeah, looks like we're going to be pulling the head off this thing after all. Well, with all that said, guys, I'm going to wrap this up for the night. I'm tired. I need to get this done so I could let them know what I found. And yeah, we'll see how long it takes them to send me a new cylinder head, and we'll go from there. So yeah, keep an eye out on these remans. If you're getting a reman cylinder head, measure the valve protrusion. I believe it's supposed to be 50 thousandths above the surface of the head or the combustion chamber. You'll know what I'm talking about when you flip the head over and look at it. I'll show you, because I'm going to measure the head up whenever they send me the replacement, because I'm not going to waste my time putting another junk head on this thing. But yeah, if you want to support the channel, there's a link to PayPal in the description of every video. If you would, hit that thumbs up button. It helps us out quite a bit. It doesn't cost you a dime. If you have any questions, comments, complaints, drop them in the comments section below. If you haven't already, please subscribe. We appreciate you watching.